Hey y'all, welcome back again for another reading out of the Astral Body. This is your girl, Unique Air here, and today I will be reading about the general description of the astral body. You know, we have several different bodies. We have our physical body, we have an astral body, we have an emotional body, we have a mental body, and we have a causal body. And being here on this school, in this school, on and in it, the school called Earth, you need to learn and understand these things. Man, the greatest thing you can do is to know thyself on every level. Okay? So today I am going to be reading about the astral body and the general description. All right? So, before proceeding to a detailed study of the astral body and of the phenomena associated with it, it might be useful to lay before the student a brief outline of the ground it is proposed to cover, in order to give in proper perspective a view of the whole subject and of the relative dependence of its several parts. Briefly, the astral body of man is a vehicle to clairvoyant sight, not unlike the physical body, surrounded by an aura of flashing colors, composed of matter of an order of fineness higher than that of physical matter, in which feelings, passions, desires, and emotions are expressed, and which acts as a bridge or medium of transmission between the physical brain and the mind, the latter operating in the still higher vehicle, the mind body. So the astral body operates in the mind body, so in the mental body. While every man possesses and uses an astral body, comparatively few are conscious of its existence or can control and function in it in full consciousness. Excuse me. So while everybody has an astral body, few people are even conscious of it or can, control it in full consciousness. In the case of large numbers of persons, it is scarcely more than an inchoate mass of astral matter, the movements and activities of which are little under the control of the man himself, the ego. With others, however, the astral body is a well developed and thoroughly organized vehicle, possessing a life of its own and conferring on its owner many and useful powers. During the sleep of the physical body, an undeveloped man leads a dreamy, vague existence in his relatively primal astral body, remembering little or nothing of his sleep life when he awakens in his physical body. So that's somebody who's underdeveloped. When you go to sleep, you should be able to come back and remember what happened. You got some people who don't remember, so they some and usually those kind of people not even aware that they have a astral body. They too connected to this world. So when they go to sleep, they don't dream. And that's not a good thing. I'm going ahead of myself. In the case of a developed man, however, the life in the astral body, whilst the physical body is wrapped in slumber, is active, interesting, and useful, and the memory of it may, under certain conditions, be brought down into the physical brain. Okay, so if you can remember your dreams, yeah, you on your way. The life of such a man ceases to be a series of days of consciousness and nights of oblivion, becoming instead a continuous life of unbroken consciousness, alternating between the physical and the astral planes or worlds. And that is a true story. That's me. I dream multiple dreams a night. It's like I never stop leaving. It's almost like I never sleep because when I'm not alive and when I'm not awake in this world and the next, I'm busy. I am busy doing something, meeting somebody, going somewhere, getting some life lessons, and that's how it's supposed to be. One of the first things a man learns to do in his astral body is to travel in it, being possible for the astral body to move with great rapidity and to great distances from the sleeping physical body. An understanding of this phenomenon throws much light on a large number of so called occult phenomena, such as apparitions of many kinds, knowledge of places never visited physically, etc. Some people just know these things because you know what? When they're sleeping, when they're in a astral body, they go in there. They're doing that. And a lot of times, deja vu is a result of your astral body traveling. The astral body being par excellence, the vehicle of feelings and emotions, an understanding of its composition and of the ways in which it operates is of considerable value in understanding many aspects of man's psychology, both individual and collective, and also provides a simple explanation of the mechanism of many phenomena revealed by modern psychoanalysis. I don't think I need to explain that. A clear understanding of the structure and nature of the astral body, of its possibilities and its limitations, is essential to a comprehension of the life into which men pass after physical death. Now, did y'all hear that? A clear understanding of the structure and nature of the astral body, of its possibilities and its limitations, it is essential to a comprehension of the life into which men pass after physical death. So you don't just sleep when you die. You don't just know nothing when you die. When you leave this body, you go right into another life. And it's essential that you understand the astral form. All right? We on our way, y'all. The many kinds of heavens, hells, and purgatorial existences believed in by followers of innumerable religions all fall naturally into place and become intelligible as soon as we understand the nature of the astral body and of the astral world. Now, this is going to become intelligent to you. The stories they tell you in the Bible about the streets of gold and the many mansions, these are all creations of your thought. You know, and I'm going to go a little further to say that people who all think in that vein of thinking, there will be a place there in the astral realm for all of them to go that think like that. So, say you're of the thought of Islam. You believe heaven's going to be full of black-eyed versions and all of this stuff. Anybody who believe that, they going to go there. It's going to be a place there for all of y'all. If you believe in, if you native, I'm native, Choctaw Cherokee, by the way, matrilineal line, Choctaw Cherokee. If you believe in the Summerlands and you think you're going to go there and have a buffalo Indian hunting ground, guess what? You're going to have it. Because in the astral realm, you can have whatever you want. Quiet as it's kept. You can have whatever you want. You create your reality. But you can learn to do that here also in the flesh. I'm going ahead of myself. Let me get back. A study of the astral body would be of assistance also in our understanding of many of the phenomena of the seance room and of certain psychic or non physical methods of healing disease. Those who are interested in what is termed the fourth dimension, it's a lot of talk about that today, will also find a confirmation of many of the theories which have been formulated by means of geometry and mathematics in the study of astral world phenomena as described by those who have observed them. A study of the astral body of man thus takes us far afield and expands enormously a conception of life based solely on the physical world and the physical senses. As we proceed, we shall see that the physical senses, invaluable as they are, by no means represent the limit of what man's vehicle may teach him of the worlds in which he lives. The awakening into functioning activity of astral faculties reveals a new world within the old world, and when a man becomes able to read or write its significance of those worlds, he will obtain such an expanded view of his own life and all nature as will reveal to him the almost limitless possibilities latent in man. Once you understand the astral world, you understand your limitless possibilities. From this, sooner or later, but inevitably, there will come the impulse and later the unshakable determination to master these worlds and himself, to rise superior to his earthly destiny, and to become an intelligent cooperator with what has been aptly termed the supreme will in evolution. We will now proceed to study in detail the astral body and many astral phenomena closely associated with it. Okay, y'all get that beginning of the description of the astral body? Now we're going to go into composition and structure. And that will be it for this particular reading, okay? And then next time I'll do the colors. Oh my God. Colors on the astral realm. Oh, anyway, composition and structure. Astral matter exists in 7 grades or orders of fineness, corresponding to the 7 grades of physical matter, which are solid, liquid, gaseous, etheric, superetheric, subatomic, and atomic. No names for these astral states. However, having so far been devised, it is usual to describe them either by the number of the grade or subplane, the finest being number 1, the coarsest number 7, or by the corresponding physical grade. We speak of astral solid matter, meaning thereby the 7th or lowest variety, astral etheric matter, meaning the 4th from the finest, and so on. So basic, the finest level is, the finest level is number 1. So you got 7 levels to the astral plane. Okay. The finest is number 1. The coarsest is number 7. All right. I want to go on and say some other stuff, but I'm just going to read it to you. All right. It says astral matter being much finer than physical matter interpenetrates it. So astral matter being finer than physical matter, this is the physical matter we in, right? The astral interpenetrates this. So it's inside of this. Okay? Says here, every physical atom therefore floats in a sea of astral matter, which surrounds it and fills every interstice in physical matter. It is, of course, well known that even in the hardest substance, no 2 atoms ever touch one another, the space between 2 adjacent atoms being in fact enormously larger than the atoms themselves. And that takes me back to that scene in The Matrix when Neo realized he could move through things, right? He realized he could jump off the top of the building, and because none of the atoms are touching. We can assimilate and we can dissimilate and reassimilate if we had the mind power to do it, right? If we were trained to do that, but we on a base level where we just trying to understand our astral bodies. We can get out of our bodies at will. When they come and knocking on your door and trying to get you for something, if you were a master, you know how to get out of your body and leave that body on the bed. You know what I'm saying? Where they can't find you. They may think you dead. People do things like that. All right. This is when you want to get into watching shows like Fringe, Supernatural, stuff like that. It'll show you how powerful you are. Whereas the powers that be want to keep you on a base level, believing in religion and not knowing that the God that you're looking for is looking right back at you when you look in the mirror. Okay. Says orthodox physical science long ago has posited an ether which interpenetrates all known substances, the densest solid as well as the most rarefied gas. And just as this ether moves with perfect freedom between the particles of densest matter, so does astral matter interpenetrate it in turn. Astral matter interpenetrates it in turn and moves with perfect freedom among its particles. Thus, a being living in the astral world might be occupying the same space as a being living in the physical world, yet each would be entirely unconscious of the other and would in no way impede the free movement of the other. So y'all hear that? Right now where I'm sitting, it could be a room full of astral beings in here. And just because I'm sitting here, they can move right on through me. They can move through this couch. We're not going to interfere. We're not going to mess with each other's existence. All right? Because astral material is that fine. If you want to learn how to see in the astral realm, put your hand on a book. This is what I did. I took like a blank page like this. A blank page like this. Put your hand on that blank page. Breathe. and look, and when you move your hand, you should be able to see your hand in light form. It's just like if you go out and look at the trees, you breathing is necessary to breathe properly to see astral matter. If you lay out and look at the trees and take a deep breath, you'll see the light surrounding the tree. See this light around my hand? That's how the astral matter is. You can see it if you're breathing properly. You can see it, and that's how you go into seeing a person's aura. Okay, but you have to develop your astral sight, right? Third eye. Okay, so here we go. The student should thoroughly familiarize himself with the fundamental conception as without grasping it clearly. Let me go back. Let me go back because it's got to make sense. It says, thus, a being living in the astral world might be occupying the same space as a being living in the physical world, yet each will be entirely unconscious of the other and would in no way impede the free movement of the other. The student should thoroughly familiarize himself with this fundamental conception, as without grasping this conception clearly, it is not possible to understand large numbers of astral phenomena. So y'all get that? Sometimes this is an old book, but when you understand the concept that astral beings could be in the same space as you, when you fully understand that they move freely through atoms, then you'll understand astral phenomena. But without understanding that, you will not understand astral phenomena. You'll thinking that's stupid, that's pseudo, that ain't real. You know what I'm saying? But you got to understand that concept that astral matter moves through atoms. It moves through physicality. It moves through. That's why when you become a spirit and you leave your body, you can walk through walls. Okay, because the atoms, they're not even touching. Right? Got to understand that. Says here, the principle of inner penetration makes it clear that the different realms of nature are not separated in space, but exist about us here and now, so that to perceive and investigate them, no movement in space is necessary, but only an opening within ourselves of the senses by means of which they can be perceived. So, in other words, you don't need to go nowhere to understand this. You ain't got to go out in space. Sitting right where you are, you can understand it. All right. So that you can perceive it. You need to understand it so you can have the perception. That's why sometimes I could be sitting here on the couch and I'll see something walk past right out of my peripheral. My husband and I would be sitting here, he'd be like, what you looking at? I'm like, baby, we're not by ourselves right now. You know, there's energies. I can feel it. I can feel it, but you got to be open to it. If you're not open to it, then you it's just like when you go to sleep and you don't dream because you're not aware of your astral body and you're so connected to this world, to physicality and material things and getting a bag that you're not even paying attention to the spiritual world, right? Says here, the astral world or plane is thus a condition of nature rather than a locality. It's not about where it's at. It's about this, its nature is what it is. It must be noted that a physical atom cannot be directly broken up into astral atoms. If the force which whirls the 14,000 million bubbles in Quailon into an ultimate physical atom be pressed back by an effort of will over the threshold of the astral plane, the atom disappears, releasing the bubbles. The same force working then on a higher level expresses itself not through one astral atom, but through a group of 49 such atoms. All right, let's keep going so we get an understanding. A similar relationship represented by the number 49 exists between the atoms of any two other contiguous planes of nature. Thus, an astral atom contains 49 or 282,475,249 bubbles. A mental atom, 49 bubbles, and so on. Okay, that math part, I ain't gonna even try to expound on that because I don't get that part. All right. I know what they're saying. I get the gist of it, that the spirit moves through the physical. And that's as long as you got that, the math stop part, don't worry about that. It's not that serious. There's a reason to believe that electrons are astral atoms. Physicists state that a chemical atom of hydrogen contains probably from 700 to 1,000 electrons. Occult research asserts that a chemical atom of hydrogen contains 882 astral atoms. This may be a coincidence, but that doesn't seem probable. It should be noted that ultimate physical atoms are of two kinds, male and female. Mm. In the male, force pours into the astral world. No, in the male, force pours in from the astral world, passes through the atom and out into the physical world. In the female, force passes in from the physical world through the atom and out into the astral world, thus vanishing from the physical world. Hmm. So with the male, the force passes through the atom out into the physical world. So through the male, it comes into the physical world. To the female, it goes out into the astral world. Mm. Astral matter corresponds with accuracy to the physical matter which it interpenetrates. So y'all get that? Astral matter conforms with accuracy to the matter which it interpenetrates. So that's like saying my astral body is not going to be sloppily laying outside of my physical body. It's going to be in perfect lockstep with my physical body. So it's not like I'll move my arm and you're going to see traces of my astral body where my arm was at. No, it's going to be right in lockstep with my flesh. Says here, each variety of physical matter attracting astral matter of corresponding density. Right, that's what I just said. Thus, solid physical matter is interpenetrated by what we call solid astral matter. Liquid physical matter by liquid astral, i.e., by matter of the sixth subplane, and similarly with gaseous and the four grades of etheric matter, each of which is interpenetrated by the corresponding grade of astral matter. So no matter what the object is on this third dimensional plane, the astral matter is going to correspond to it, exactly with it. Precisely as it is necessary that the physical body should contain within its constitution physical matter in all its conditions, solid, liquid, gaseous, and etheric, so it is indispensable that the astral body should contain particles of all the seven astral subplanes, though, of course, the proportions may vary greatly in different cases. The astral body of man, thus being composed of matter of all seven grades, it is possible for him to experience all varieties of desire to the fullest possible extent, the highest as well as the lowest. It is the peculiar type of response possessed by astral matter which enables the astral matter to serve as the sheath in which the self can gain experience of sensation. In addition to the ordinary matter of the astral plane, that which is known as the third elemental kingdom, or simply as the elemental essence of the astral plane, also enters largely into the composition of man's astral body and forms what is called the desire elemental, which we shall deal with more fully in later chapters. And that's good. That's where you learn about karma. The desires that you have bring karma on you. Okay? I'm telling y'all, this earth plane, this is a test. This is all a test. People get here and they get lost. They get taken over by these elementals. There's negative ones and there's good ones, but most of them are negative. And they get caught up with things and they forget the whole purpose of being here. Astral elemental essence consists of matter of the six lower levels of the astral plane, vivified, made vivacious by the second outpouring from the second person of the Trinity. Astral matter of the highest or atomic level, similarly vivified, is known as monadic essence. In an undeveloped man, listen to this, the astral body is a cloudy, loosely organized, vaguely outlined mass of astral matter with a great predominance of substance from the lower grades. It is gross, dark in color, and dense, often so dense that the outline of the physical body is almost lost in it, and is thus fitted to respond to stimuli connected with the passions and appetites. In size, it extends in all directions about 10 or 12 inches beyond the physical body. That's the aura, right? Part of the man. But when they talk about the undeveloped man, they talking about the person that ain't thought about spirituality at all. That would be talking about, like, say, because see, people who go to church, they are trying. They just don't know how else to find out information. But say somebody who just, say a rapper, okay? We'll say a rapper who ain't spiritual in the least bit. He ain't thinking about God. All he is worried about is his desires. He worried about sleeping with a lady. He worried about having, doing drugs and all this. This is somebody who's loosely undeveloped. They just have no understanding, right? But you can't necessarily say it's because it's a rapper, because most spiritual people don't know nothing about this. It'd be the worldly people that kind of understand it a little bit more. But just, yeah, that's what it means when it says undeveloped. Somebody who don't take the time out to learn, to know, to understand. It baffles me that we understand in this world, you got to go to school to make money. You got to go to school to become the master of your craft. You got to stay up late. You got to burn some candle oil. But then when it comes to spirituality, people think you just gonna haphazardly cross over and know everything and be with Jesus. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, the physical world shows us what the spiritual world has order too. You have to study that too. You don't just haphazardly know things. People think when they die, they just gonna know everything and they gonna become righteous. No, no. You're gonna be the same person you was before you got out your body. Let him who's filthy be filthy still. Let him who is clean be clean still. You got to put in some effort. You got to study. Okay? This is not something that just, and you get your soul trapped when you go into these religions, because it tells you to stay away from stuff like this. Let me get off my rant. Let me finish reading. In an average moral and intellectual man, the astral body is considerably larger, extending about 18 inches on each side of the body. Remember, the astral body only extended 10 or 12 inches from and I say the aura, they say astral body, but it's the shine of your aura, only extends 10 or 12 inches behind somebody who's undeveloped. But somebody who's intellectual like you and I, who are reading and studying, it's going to reach out 18 inches. So that's what, a foot and a half. All right. So when you coming around the corner, somebody gonna feel you, especially if you got the right mind and your thoughts are right. Remember we talked about thoughts. Okay. Says here, so in an average moral and intellectual man, the astral body is considerably larger, extending about 18 inches on each side of the body. Its materials are more balanced and finer in quality. The presence of the rarer kinds giving a certain luminous quality to the whole, and its outline is clear and definite. In the case of a spiritually developed man, the astral body is still larger in size and is composed of the finest particles of each grade of astral matter, the higher largely predominating. There is so much to be said regarding the colors of astral bodies that the subject is reserved for a separate chapter. It's a lot about the colors, told y'all. Here, however, it may be stated that in undeveloped types, the colors are coarse and muddy. People who are undeveloped, you know how you get around somebody and their energy don't feel right? That's a coarse and muddy aura, right? They're not developed. They may have bad thoughts. More than likely they do if it's like that. It's coarse and muddy. Remember what we went through in thought forms? If you want to go back and watch my reading on thought forms, when a person don't think properly, um, and their energy is not good, they aura is coarse and muddy. And so when you get around them, you get that feeling like, I don't like being around that person. Something about them. Okay. Says here, gradually becoming more and more luminous as the man develops emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, right? So their aura becomes more and more clear and bright as they develop, as they grow. I have family members I don't want to be around because they just negative, and they energy. I don't want to sit next to them because the energy is so bad. You know what I'm saying? They're undeveloped. They're not even looking into this kind of stuff. That's them kind of people that party 6 days a week and then go to church and get more demons put on them. They think they going and they getting some help. They going and getting worse because the pastor is putting hands on you, laying his hands on the little boy's bottom. Okay. Says here the very name astral, inherited from medieval alchemists, signifies starry, being intended to allude to the luminous appearance of astral matter. You ever been around somebody who energy is just so bright and you just like, whoa, okay, let me give you an example. And she may not be the most righteous, but I felt like that about Iyanla when she had that show, Fix My Life, and she was going in there and she was cleaning people's lives up. And she just knew, like, you ain't got to be religious to have a bright astral. You know what I'm saying? She had that and she was healing people. She knew how to do the wisdom, the mental. She tackled that. And even today, her older age, she still has a bright um um aura. Okay. Says here, as already said, the astral body of a man not only permeates the physical body, but also extends around it in every direction like a cloud. That portion of the astral body which extends beyond the limits of the physical body is usually termed the astral aura. Haven't I been saying that? Because we just read that the astral body fits tightly to the physical object that it corresponds to. So I don't care if it's a fan, I don't care if it's your cell phone, I don't care what it is, the astral is going to fit tightly to that, right? It has to do that. So what's illuminating around it is the aura. All right, so we got that. Says intense feelings mean a large aura, and that's what I just said. I was talking about Iyanla, or people who got good thoughts and they mean well to others, and stuff like that. They aura is huge. Them the kind of people you want to be around, not the stars that they tell you they have you worshiping these. That's idol worship when you running up on these stars and they wicked and they sacrificing children, drinking a children's blood, adrenochrome. You know what I'm saying? Doing all of that. And people at concerts, Beyonce, ain't nothing righteous about that person. The aura ain't good. That's desire. So people like that would have muddy auras. You see what I'm saying? All right. So it says here, intense feelings means a large aura. It may here be mentioned that increased size of the aura is a prerequisite for initiation, and the qualifications should be visible in it. The aura naturally increases with each initiation. The aura of the Buddha is said to have been 3 miles in radius, which I don't believe that because, well, I'm not going to say that. The Buddha, I don't know about the Buddha, but I know this man who's supposed to be this religious man wearing orange over there, wherever he was. And I don't know that man's name, but he was molesting kids and he was supposed to be a holy man, just like the Pope, right? So the Buddha, yeah, that is an old religious figure. So maybe perhaps the Buddha's aura was that large. But basically, if the better, the higher up you go in understanding and love and good thoughts, your aura gets bigger and bigger and bigger to where a person could say, they might say you finna go visit somebody and they call you, how you doing, girl? I'm right around. I don't know why I thought about you. You what? Okay, I'm finna buzz you up. Because your aura is so big, they could feel you before you get there. That's the point I'm trying to make. Okay. Says here, so they said the Buddha had an aura that was a 3 mile radius. 8 blocks is a mile. So you talking about 24 blocks. You could feel the Buddha. All right. The matter of the physical body having a very strong attraction for the matter of the astral body, it follows that by far the greater portion, about 99%, of the astral particles are compressed within the periphery of the physical body. Only the remaining 1% filling the rest of the ovoid and forming the aura. Hmm. The central portion of the astral body thus takes the exact form of the physical body and is, in fact, very solid and definite and quite clearly distinguishable from the surrounding aura. It is usually termed the astral counterpart of the physical body. The exact correspondence of the astral body with the physical, however, is merely a matter of external form and does not at all involve any similarity of function in the various organs, as we shall see more fully in the chapter on chakras. You want to understand chakras? We're going to get to that. It says not only man's physical body, but everything physical has its corresponding order of astral matter in constant association with it, not to be separated from it except by a very considerable exertion of occult force. Hmm. It can't be separated except by exertion of occult force. Like, occult means secret, but just basically knowing how to see into that realm. Then you can see the astral part of something. Like the cell phone got an astral too. Everything has an astral counterpart. This is not just a physical thing. Everything does. And even then, only to be held apart from it as long as force is being definitely exerted to that end. In other words, every physical object has its astral counterpart, what I just said. But as the astral particles are constantly moving among one another as easily as those of a physical liquid, there's no permanent association between any one physical particle and that amount of astral matter which happens at any given moment to be acting on its counterpart. Usually, the astral portion of an object projects somewhat beyond the physical part of it, so that metals, stones, etc., are seen surrounded by an astral order. And that's true. And I always see the astral particles of trees. You can see it. If you just sit there in your car with just stare at it and then close your eyes and open your eyes back up, and you see the light around the trees. Okay, you can see it around a person. You can see it. Now you got to be more trained to see the colors, but you can see the light emanating from a person, just like you can see the light, the fine light around me right now. Imagine this fine light around my hair that's separating me from this backdrop, reaching out 3 miles, 18 inches. Just imagine. This is why when you see drawings of religious figures, they have lights around them, halo. That's nothing but the aura. Ain't nothing righteous about it. It's just your aura. Okay. Says in some part of man's I'm sorry. It says if some part of a man's physical body be removed by amputation, the coherence of the living astral matter is stronger than its attraction towards the severed portion of the physical. Consequently, the astral counterpart of the limb will not be carried away with the severed physical limb. Since the astral matter has acquired the habit of keeping that particular form, it will continue to retain the original shape, but will soon withdraw within the limits of the main form. In other words, I don't know if you all are familiar with Kirlian photography. Look up Kirlian photography. What Kirlian photography shows is the astral body, right? And you can look this up on YouTube right after you get through watching this. When something is severed, like I just read in the book, whether it's a plant, you pull off a leaf, or if you lose your arm, right? When you lose your arm, you don't see the arm no more. But if with Kirlian photography, when they take a picture of your arm, the part that was cut off is still going to be there because the astral body is used to having it there. So it'll be there. It'll take some time for it to actually shrink until it just fits the part of arm that you can see. So in other words, the astral still holds on to a form after a part has been removed to show you how real that it is. So look up Kirlian photography. It's spelled Kirlian, Kirlian photography. It'll show you how, they got a great documentary on it here on YouTube, how when something is removed, you can still see the astral form of it afterwards. It's crazy. And that's why some people, when they have their limbs amputated, they still feel it, even though the leg is gone. Like when my grandmother had her leg amputated, she could still feel that, like she still felt like she had her leg, but it wasn't there. You know what I mean? So the things in the spirit are more real than the things that we see, right? That adds credence to that saying. So it says here, the same phenomenon takes place in the case of a tree from which a branch has been severed. In the case of an inanimate body, however, such as a chair or a basin, there is not the same kind of individual life to maintain cohesion. Consequently, when the physical object is broken, the astral counterpart would also be divided. So y'all get that? When it's something living, the astral is still holding on, is still showing in the spirit that you have that appendage that you lost. With a tree, a plant, a person, as long as it's living, you can still see it. But if it's something like a hard object, like um, a chair, you break the leg off of a chair, or break a pencil in half, it's not like that. It's just the astral is gonna show exactly what's there. It's not gonna show the part that's been broken off. This is amazing to me. I love hearing this. I love knowledge, y'all. I'm telling y'all. Okay, it says here. Let me see how much further I got. Oh yeah, we almost done. It says we 40 minutes in. I'll be done within an hour. It says, quite apart from the 7 grades of matter arranged in order of fineness, there is also a totally distinct classification of astral matter according to its type. In theosophical literature, the degree of fineness is usually designated the horizontal division, and the type the vertical division. I keep feeling something right here. The types, of which there are 7, are as thoroughly intermingled as are the constituents of the atmosphere. And in every astral body, there is matter of all 7 types. The proportion between them showing the disposition of the man, whether he be devotional or philosophic, artistic or scientific, pragmatic or mystic. So remember, there's 7 levels in the astral, right? There's several planes in the astral, but there's also several subplanes. This thing is deep. We can know everything about the next world, y'all. We don't have to sit up here and try to wonder and think, okay, when I die, what's gonna happen? We can know, especially in this age of Aquarius. Pick up a book. All you got to do is think about what you want to know. And guess what? Spirit will present it to you. And I have a story to tell y'all later on. I'm going to do a taping just on my experience with a visitor that I had that walked through my wall. All right. So basically, there are 7 planes of matter. There are 7 from the coarsest to the finest. Remember, 1 being the finest, 7 being the coarsest. And we are made of all of that. All right. Says here, the whole of the astral portion of our earth and of the physical planets, together with the purely astral planets of our system, make up collectively the astral body of the solar logos. Logos means word, and solar is sun, right? Thus showing that the old pantheistic conception was a true one. Remember the Son of God in the sky, right? Said, I am the word is the truth, and the word is life. I come and give life and life more abundantly. That sun in the sky gives life and more abundantly. Because if that sun doesn't rise tomorrow, guess what? We're all dead. We're all back in the spirit realm. Okay. Similarly, each of the 7 types of astral matter is to some extent regarded as a whole, a separate vehicle, and may be thought of as also the astral body of a subsidiary deity or minister, who is at the same time an aspect of the deity, a kind of ganglion or force center in him. The ganglion. I was listening to Brother C. Freeman L. talking about the I gotta tie that in together, spirit. I got it. I got it. I got it. The ganglion. Talking about it ties in with the chakrams going up to the, oh man. Okay. I'm gonna put that together and I'm gonna teach on that. But I get it. I'm putting some stuff together in my head. Hence, the slightest thought, movement, or alteration of any kind of the subsidiary deity is instantly reflected in some way or other in all the matter of the corresponding type. Such psychic changes occur periodically. Perhaps they correspond to in-breathing and out-breathing, and I spoke about that earlier, or to the beating of the heart with us on the physical plane. It has been observed that the movements of the physical planets furnish a clue to the operation of the influences flowing from these changes. Hence, the rationale of astrological science, astrology. Okay, it's a science, y'all. It ain't pseudo. You got 12 houses. You've got a Lord over that house. Any planet that's over that house is the Lord of that house. So when people say Lord willing, well, is the Lord willing in that particular house for you to have something or to do something? Say that Lord is retrograde, like when Mercury goes retrograde, and everybody knows who knows in astrology that when Mercury goes retrograde, you don't sign no contracts, you don't do no business during that time, right? You don't get into any agreements. And so, say for instance, somebody's trying to get me to sign up to sell something or something like that, and I'm like, man, I want to do it if the Lord be willing. And then you go back and check your chart, like you getting ready to sign this contract, but you see Mercury retrograde, Lord ain't willing, you got to wait. Mercury go direct in February, so you know what, get back with me at that time. You ain't got to tell them that, but you know that the Lord of that house ain't willing at the time for you to be doing that. See, it's common sense. It doesn't have to be so out of this world and spookism. It's just common sense. Says, hence, further, any such alteration must to some extent affect each man in proportion to the amount of that type of matter which he possesses in his astral body. Thus, one change would affect the emotions or the mind or both. Another might intensify nervous excitement and irritability, and so on. It is this proportion which determines in each man, animal, planet, or mineral certain fundamental characteristics which never change, sometimes called his note, color, or ray. To pursue this interesting line of thought further would take us beyond the scope of this book. So, the student is referred to, write this down if you want to study this further, The Hidden Side of Things, Volume 1, page 43 through 58. The name of the book is called The Hidden Side of Things, Volume 1, and it will be on page 43 through 58 to study that. Says there are 7 subtypes in each type, making 49 subtypes in all. Didn't I tell y'all you got 7 levels in the astral realm? And for each of them 7 levels, you got 7 levels under that. So say you got the first level of the astral realm, you got 7 levels under that. Then you got the second level of the astral realm, you got 7 levels under that. Third level, 7 levels under that. Altogether 49 levels. Okay. Mm-hmm. Says here, the type or ray is permanent through the whole planetary scheme, so that an elemental essence, which it says, see page 6. So let me tell you what the elemental essence is, because I don't want you to leave here not knowing what it is. Says here, the type or ray is permanent through the whole planetary scheme, so that an elemental essence, page 6, astral elemental essence consists of matter of the 6 lower levels of the astral plane. Y'all remember that? Is this my? Oh, she's gonna have to wait because I'm. Let me let her know. I'll call her back. Okay. So astral elemental essence consists of matter of the 6 lower levels of the astral plane. Okay. Ooh, I'm getting tired, y'all. This is the last paragraph. It says here, of type A will in due course ensoul minerals, plants, and animals of type A, and from it will emerge also human beings of the same type. All right. The astral body slowly but constantly wears away, precisely as does the physical, but instead of the process of eating and digesting food, the particles which fall away are replaced by others from the surrounding atmosphere. Nevertheless, the feeding of individuality is communicated to the new particles as they enter, and also the elemental essence included with each man's astral body undoubtedly feels itself a kind of entity and acts according for what it considers its own interest. If you don't know what I said, you got to play that back and listen to it over and over and over, because I have got to get ready to cut out. Uh, yeah, so this 49 minutes in, it's a little less than an hour, y'all, but wow, I just saw a reflection off of my fireplace moving over there. So I'm not nervous about spirit things, but because when you have the right energy, guess what? They'll appear to you. Spirits will come to you. And that's what you want, you know? So I know when I get over to the other side, I'm gonna have a gang of them waiting on me. Good ones too. Like, hey, she back. Hey girl, hey, you did that on the other side. You actually did what you were supposed to do. You know, and I want to burn out all my karma. I want to get all of that out because I ain't coming back here, y'all. This the last go round for me. Uh, I'm a life path number 9. Numerology is important. And when you are number 9, that's the highest number ever. You know how number 9 is the highest number? Because if you look at the multiplication table of nines, all of the, what's the better word? All of the answers for the multiplication, 9 is the highest number. Example, 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 2 plus 7 is 9. It just all goes to 9. There's nothing higher than 9. So usually when you're a life path 9, if you get on your purpose and you do what you're supposed to do, you don't have to come back. I'm not coming back. I don't have anything that's holding me. No, you want to make sure you don't have any desires. You want to make sure you don't have any regrets, no guilt. You want to really clean your plate so you ain't got to come back here because this is a hell realm. It's a heaven for some, hell for others. But you don't want to come back here. I mean, unless you want to. It's nothing wrong with it, you know. You want to get up and go to work every day and slave and pay tax. If you want to do all of that, then okay, that's fine. Ain't no right or wrong, y'all. You know, it's just not for me. I'd rather be free because in this body, the body of this death, we die each day, putting up with the aches and the pains. You got to feed this body, you know. It's just a lot to it. Where in the spirit realm, you don't have to go through all that. Like I said, you can walk through walls, you create your reality, you know, you build your own mansion over there. You just think about it though. You don't have to do no work. You just, you know what I'm saying? That is living, right? And you're going to be around what you're like. The laws of attraction are very strong on that side. So it ain't like you're going to be where, you know, like, I don't want to be around these people. No, you're going to be around people just like you. So what kind of world are you creating for yourself on the other side? Is it going to be a good one or is it going to be one where you know, with a bunch of criminal elements? It's hell over there. It's hell on that realm. I got to read that to y'all. It is a real hell. But you put yourself there. It's not because you committed some sins. Sin is a Hindu deity. It ain't even an act. But you put yourself there by the way that you behave in this world. You know, if you lying, stealing, killing, cheating, treating women bad, using men, you know, doing all them kind of things, then you create that for yourself. We just don't realize how much power we got, you know? But on that note, I got to get out of here. I thank you for joining me. Again, it is your girl, Unique Air, and we just going to go through this book. As much as I like to jump, my Gemini rising be wanting to jump over here, jump over there, read that, move here. There was a young lady, I don't remember the name, on one of my videos. I hope you read the whole book. And so I'm gonna read the whole book. So we got through chapter 2. Tomorrow I'm gonna be reading on the colors of the auras, you know, and how you can see these same colors on the other side. That's how souls know who's a part of their soul group. Because when you get over there, it's colors. Yellow gonna go over there with yellow, green with green, blue with blue. You know what I'm saying? It's no mistake. Nothing is hidden. There's no flesh. There's no veil of flesh. It's all lights. So, you know, where you gonna wind up at? Anyway, I love y'all. Thank y'all for joining me for another reading. Please don't forget to like and please subscribe and share. And I appreciate y'all. I really do. I really, really, really do. Uh, and that's going to end this recording. Thank you for joining me. See you next time.